Facebook page. You are going to catch up the one there. And this is going to be a 20-day series. If you're joining for the first time, you're welcome. It's going to be a 20-day series where we're going to be like exploring what is possible with AI. It is called Zero to AI Confident. So literally, you're moving from an AI confused person to an AI confident person, and it's going to be 20, like I said, every weekday, Monday to Friday by 7 p.m. I'm going to be showing up live on your screen to explore what AI is up with you. So without saying so much today, we really want to move very fast because we are behind time already. Now, what we are going to be exploring today, yes, we'll also be covering all throughout the 4 weeks, right? We'll be covering for week one, that is Monday to Friday. We are looking at killing the fear of how do I even start with AI. That's what we're literally doing. Then we'll move to week two, where we'll be mastering prompting brand voice. Now, one or two persons on this call now, you might have heard what prompting is, and then you've had something like prompt engineering, and then you're not so sure exactly what people are talking about. Now, what they mean is that how to simply write instruction to get the best output from your AI. All right, it can be any large language model, not a complex thing and make everything complex. Basically your ChatGPT, your Gemini, your Cloud, right, your Grok. These are what we call large language models, all right? And then we're going to move to week three where we are going to build actual thing, right? We're going to build a working app without writing a single line of code. We're going to explore a personalized website, in 20 minutes, and I mean it. We're going to build a website that will function, ready to accept payments, ready to function in just 20 minutes with AI. This is what is possible. I know people are building WordPress, they're writing code for website, but in 2026, I'm going to show you how to build a personalized website in just 20 minutes or less. Now, we're going to build a chatbot for your business. We're going to look at how to generate premium images, without needing a designer, right? Now, by week four, we're going to now talk about how you can scale. We talk about ROI, governance, and then we look at the full system that I'm going to make available to you. All right. So for today, what we are literally considering, what we are considering today, is a very interesting one. And then what we are doing is that we are considering some questions that people do not ask when starting to use AI. Now, once again, I welcome you back to day two. If you are just joining, this is day two of the 20-day series, right? Now, I need you to think about the last time you opened ChatGPT or any design. Sorry, I'm a designer, so I often say design, right? So you're gonna permit that. I need you to think about the last time you opened ChatGPT with a real problem. And when I say real problem, not just that, okay, just want to write message on WhatsApp. No, no. I mean a real problem, not to play with it, not to like I just want to test. No, that's what I'm saying here. You had something you actually needed, help with. You type your question and you hit enter, you waited for some time, and after a moment, ChatGPT return what you could not, even resonate with, right? And it was so generic, and obviously you cannot use it. And then at the end of the day, you probably close the tab and try to do it yourself. Now, has happened to you. I need to let you know that it's not just happening to you, it has happened to a lot of persons, and it will continue to happen to people because people do not learn how to do things, structurally or methodically or the professional way. And that's one of the things that we are going to be doing here. So I need to state that clear that AI is not failing. AI is not that no, that's not it. But the only challenge is that you are not giving the AI context, right? It is not because the tool is is bad or it doesn't understand you or something. It's because of the question you ask. And the thing is that everyone is just talking about large language model, um, prompt engineering, and all of those things. And tonight, I'm going to show you what actually went wrong the moment you experience that, and what exactly to do differently from now on. And by the end of the next 30 minutes that we're going to be spending together, you should walk, away from this session with a clear question to the answer. All right, that you have in your mind and all of those things. Yesterday, we made an attempt to help us identify where the starting point is. And the starting point, as we identified yesterday, is you being able to identify the problem. We looked at context, location, we looked at evaluation, we looked at activation, and then we looked at review, right? So it's the framework I call clear. You can catch up on yesterday's teaching or day one teaching so that we don't waste much time looking at it. So if we're able to identify the context first, it starts with problem. It doesn't start with the tool. Using AI starts with the problem. And I said yesterday that you don't just learn AI as a skill, you learn. All right. So I'm going to move very fast so that I don't delay you. So if you do not name that thing, if you do not name the problem, you will spend the rest of this series learning just theory. It's I need you to get it clearly. If you name it, you'll be building and then you practice as you move on. That is the difference between people who finish, who will finish this series and then walking away with clarity, with confidence, just the way we target. And then people that just want to come. See, my goal for the 20 days is not just to come and communicate something. My goal is not just to, just sound like someone that is intelligent or that knows this thing. I really want you to understand the ecosystem. I really want you to understand what it takes to you use artificial intelligence beyond just generating pictures, beyond just generating videos. I need you to understand everything. And it all starts with the context. If you don't identify the problem, if you don't know where the problem lies in your organization, in your marketing team, in your operations, if you don't understand what the problem is, if you can't identify what the problem is, it's become very difficult for you to actually know where to the right tools. All right. Now, I need to if you are live on this call now or you'll be watching the replay, I need you to go to the chat box now and then just type that specific problem that you're trying to solve now. Now, listen now. Don't overthink it. Just start with the problem that you do, concurrently or repeatedly. There are tasks that you do every day that takes your time, and you feel, what if I could just get away to work on this thing and then set it on automation and all of this is where you begin to think that AI should come in. AI will not come in until you have identified the problem. That is the starting point. All right. So let's move very fast. So when someone tell you AI is not working for them, I ask one of the things I ask them is that what have you tried? And you find out that the answer is almost always some version, almost the same thing. They type something like, help me grow my business, give me marketing ideas, how do I reach more customers? And people get something and they don't like, and like, oh, it's generic, just feel like, a textbook, so generic, lifeless, and all of this thing. Sometimes like, this AI is even overhyped. People say it's overhyped. That's usually their conclusion. So the question is that what have you tried? Now, here's the problem with that conclusion. They were not necessarily using AI wrongly. I mean, people are not necessarily using the AI wrongly, right? They were only asking it to be what is not. There is what AI should act like. There is what AI should not act like. So they were of course, you say some prompts that will say act like a strategist or something. But before AI becomes a strategist, AI is first a task executor. Before AI becomes a strategist, AI is first an executor. I need you to get this right. So AI is, sometimes people ask AI to be a strategist when AI is really a task executor. And those two are completely different job roles. I need to let you know that. Now, there's no need to know for you to, this is because there's no time. All right, now, looking at it now, who is a strategist? A strategist is someone that decides what to do. Now, a task executor is someone that carries out a defined task very well. A strategist decide what to do, then a task executor carries out, defined tasks very well. So sometimes people say, I understand when prompting, act, you are a strategist, you are this. At the end of that thing, is still what? Is still carrying out a task for you. Literally now, you are the strategist here. You are the strategist here. I need you to understand that you are the what? You are the strategist. When you ask AI to help you grow your business, you are not asking it to make a strategic decision for you. You are still the one making the strategic decision. That is not what it is for. And honestly, that is not what you should want it to do. Are we still together? Please, I need my team to give me feedback. If one of them is on the call, please can you give me feedback, please? Because I seems to be having some limitation right here. All right. So when you ask AI to give you or to help you grow your business, like I was saying, you are asking it to make. You are not asking it to make a what to make a strategic decision for you. It's beautiful. I know you'll be like, well, we are going to get to that. So when you ask AI to write five version of a follow-up email to a client who has gone probably for a long time, let's say 2 months or even 2 weeks, in your tone, you are giving it a tax. And that is what it's built for. That is where it ends it gets your trust if there's anything like that. So you are literally giving it a tax. The moment you internalize that distinction, most of the struggles you have with AI disappears. The moment you are able to agree that what I'm doing now is that I'm giving the AI tax, I am still the strategist. That is why on every website, on every AI enabled website, what you are going to see there is that AI can make mistakes. Please double check responses. These things are not glitchy when we have them on the website. They are intentional. That is where you know that you are the what? You are the strategist. Now, there is a need for you to answer one question. And the question is that what do I do every week that I wish I did not have to do? What do I do every week that I wish I did not have to do? Now, listen now. There is how we work before now, and there is how we work now. The way we work in 2024, the way we work let's even take it back. The way we work in 2020 and the way we work in 2026, as there is a big shift between this duration. There is a big shift happening. And it pains me when I see a lot of people still trying to do things that AI can do more efficiently than them. They just want to, okay, that's not it. A lot of things are, and a lot will still change. I said sometime in one of my content that people should not die hard learning a skill that AI can easily replace in 2026. And listen now, let me say it here. The what you are seeing right now is the worst AI can ever produce. If this is what AI can produce as at 2026, I need you to think of 2030, 2050. So the best AI can produce has not even come yet. This is not the best it can produce. So you need to identify what that task is. What do you do every week that you wish you do not have to what you do not have to do? All right. This is the first question I ask every client whenever we have engagements. Before we work, we even talk about tools and all. And it works for a specific reason. What it does is that it forces you to stop thinking about AI as a subject you need to learn and start thinking about it as a solution to something you are already doing. That single framing is worth more than any prompt library you will ever download. Because if you are not clear about exactly what you want, it becomes difficult for you to you can't just be gathering prompt library. Just pick a prompt from Instagram, you pick a prompt from x.com, you pick a prompt from Facebook, and then at the end of the day you are even confused. So when you are able to think about it, what do I do every week that I wish I did not have to do? So it forces you to stop thinking about AI as a subject you need to learn and start making it about, thinking about it as a solution to something that you are already doing. Now, most people hear when most people hear these questions, they try to answer it from their memory. When you ask them, "Oh, what do you do every week that consume your time?" and people just think, I think no, that's not it. They try to answer the question from their memory. They think about it for 5 seconds and say something like, everything drains me. That's not useful. That's not what we want here. You need to answer it from evidence, not just from your feeling. It is something that I don't want to talk about certain things, but literally, if you cannot sit down and think deeply that what is that tax, it doesn't mean that. And people need to. I was watching a program today by, can I still remember right now? I was watching a program today by Unilag. I've forgotten the name of the initiative right now. I can't remember right now, but they just launched an AI ecosystem within their institution. Beautiful stuff. And someone was asking that how do we really tell the audience, how do we really tell the society that the way you're running from AI is not the best? Because people are not embracing AI. Then they are making it look like it's something that we should not embrace. It shouldn't be that way. Are we still together now? Now, before we go tonight, I'm going to show you 3 places to find some of these things, some of this evidence. You know, Majorly just three. Some people, if you're a professional here, you want to open your calendar, for last week, and then you just go through it and look at the meeting or the dates or any tasks that you have to push forward because you feel there was no time for you to sit down with them. That is where it starts from. Those are your candidates. Your calendar does not lie, right? So you check your calendar. What are those things that you push forward because you couldn't have time to sit down with them and then execute. Then the next one is your, maybe still talking about professionals here right now. Maybe you want to check out, for your sent folder in your email. You can open your email, look at the messages in the last 7 days. How many of them were basically, the same structure, and then follow up, propose, and all of this thing. If you look at those email and then they follow the same structure, these are the things that you can automate. You don't have to start writing your email yourself again. You can literally automate this writing of email if you feel that this thing, they are literally the same structure. Repetition is one of the strongest signals that AI can step in. If you are writing the same kind of message over and over again, you are doing the work that a tool can do faster, and you are paying for it with one resource you cannot get back. Let me say that again. Repetition is one of the strongest signals that AI can step in any task at all. If you are writing the same kind of message over and over again, you are doing the work that a tool can do faster, and you are even paying for it with one resource that you cannot afford to get back. That is your time, sometimes money. Now, the third place you can find the signal is in your procrastination list. The third thing is the task you keep pushing to tomorrow. All right, that is what you keep pushing towards tomorrow. I'm just glad that I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, let's move on. So, what are what are in your procrastination list? This is the third place your task goes. Procrastination is usually not laziness. Sometimes it's a signal. It's telling you the task that is boring, draining, or repetitive. If you keep having a repetitive task, that's a signal that AI needs to come in. Stop working like you used to work in 2020 and let AI automate things for you. All right? Let AI automate things for you. Now, from tomorrow, we're going to begin to break some of these things down, right? But before I go today, I need you to let you see some things. Once you have your honest answer, you need a simple way to move from I know what frustrates me to I know what tools to use. This is one of the goals of this webinar or training. I need you to move from the point of what frustrates me to which AI tools I need to use. Now, and I use a model which has 3 steps, and it is designed so that the tool is the last thing you think about, not the first. Most people do this in reverse. They think about the tool first, and then they now, okay, what do I want to do? No, that's not it for you. That's not it for you. And this is the model: the pain, the tax, the match. The pain, the tax, the match. The pain, the tax, the match. If you want to make a screenshot, you can make a screenshot. Probably want to post on your social media space and tag me as Adebayo Kareem. All right. So we have the pain. Now, you need to state the pain precisely. I've said that. Not, don't say something like I need to grow. That's not, it's generic. You could say something like I spend 4 hours a week writing follow-up emails. That all sounds slightly different from each other. Now, you need to notice something. Notice how that sentence give you something measurable, from something like I need to grow, or I write too much of email, to something like I spend 4 hours a week writing follow-up emails. That all sounds slightly different from each other. So you notice how measurable that is. So you can track whether AI can actually reduce those 4 hours. So when your pain is vague, you get vague progress. So precise pain give you measurable progress. This is the rule worth writing down. You need to jot this down. You need to write this down. Precise pain gives you a measurable progress. Now, the next one is tasks. Once you identify the pain, break it into concrete tasks. For the email example now, the task might be, let's say something like, what can I use? Draft the first version of a follow-up email, given a short summary of the client context in my tone. Remember the pain. Now the task. You identify the task. Now you are now moving ahead and what? And saying something like, draft the first version of a follow-up email, given a short summary of the client context in my tone. So you notice that the task already tells you what goes into what and what comes out. So there is the input and then there is the output, like we saw yesterday. That is what AI need to operate cleanly. Now, the last one is the match. Now, this is when you consider the tools. This is where most people start, unfortunately. And it is why they end up getting overwhelmed by hundreds of options out there. You should be arriving at this to last, not first. And at a practical level, there are only five categories worth knowing, not 1,000 tools, just five. Now, there are other things people do with AI, but there are five major categories which I'm going to run through very quickly because we have less than 10 minutes to leave here because we start quite late. Now, let me do that. Now, five major categories of AI use cases. Number one is writing. People write email, they write proposals, people write context, people write summaries, people write reports. Then there is the research. You're finding something, you're comparing something and verifying information. There is the visuals, the images, the design, the marketing asset. Then there is the automation, connecting tools, running repetitive workflow, and all of those things. Then the last one is building. We are really going to explore building websites, building app, building chatbots and internal tools. One of the things that you can do for yourself and your team in 2026 is to build internal tools that only your team use instead of you trying to subscribe to tools monthly. This is possible in 2026. Are we still together? Please give me a moment. Thank you. So I just got a message from one of the guys with me that the event I was trying to mention earlier is AI Unipod by Unilag. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Yeah, you want to check that out, and I'm still gonna write comment on it, later. You want to very beautiful initiative. I think I'm gonna visit that soon, right? Okay, so these are the five major categories of AI use cases. Every other thing is centered around this. Are we still together? All right, let's move on. Now, this is the entire AI landscape at a practical level. I don't want to get deeper, but just the five major categories in the AI landscape at a practical level. There are hundreds of products out there, but every single one of them sits inside of those five buckets. This is bucket that we just talked about. There are many thousands. There are thousands of AI products, but every single one of them fits into one or two or more of these categories that you are looking right on your screen. Once you know the category your tags belong to, the tool is just a matter of which product is the strongest in that space right now. So if you're able to identify from these categories where your use case is, right, it's now become something that you have to ask yourself, which tool is the most sophisticated for the task I want to execute right now. All right, I will name specific tools tomorrow, right? My job tonight is to help you see the shape of the map, where you are coming from, where you are going. What exactly are you trying to solve? What exactly are you trying to do with AI? Are you trying to write? Are you trying to make visuals? Are you trying to automate tasks? Are you trying to build something? Anything at all, you people can argue still centers around these five major categories of AI use cases. Very important. Now you need to know that. Very important. Now we have 5 minutes to go here. I am not seeing the comment section, just forgive the limitations today. Tomorrow we're gonna do better, but this information I'm giving you is much more important than let me just see if I can be able, I'm not seeing it right there. Okay. Do I still have another slide? Okay, this is not, yeah. All right. So, people talk about, the waste hours comparing suppliers, before every purchase decision or something. Now, that kind of pain now, right? Yeah, that is a pain, right? Supplier comparison, right? Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 hours a week. Now, the task for that is to produce a structured comparison of suppliers on price. Now, listen, I need you to see that this is practical. Maybe you want to you're looking for suppliers to supply this blah blah. You can literally use Perplexity to do this thing. Perplexity will do this thing very well for you. And this is one of the things that we'll be looking at tomorrow. So one of the tools that we'll be using tomorrow is Perplexity, or a well-known, from let's just stay with Perplexity for now. Now for this person now, the project, let's just let me not go too far, all right? We've had other cases where someone said they struggle with product description for their store. Now, this is the pain. The pain is writing the same kind of description from scratch for every product. Now, this could be the task. Given products, name, features, and target customers, produce three versions of a description in their brand voice, something like that. Now, the category this falls into is writing. That specific project is what we are going to solve by the time we get to day 5. We have other situations like someone said, oh, they spend so much time answering the same customer, the same questions on WhatsApp. This is a pain. Repetitive customer questions. What happened to frequently asked questions that you can build by many chat? You can build a chatbot that automatically responds to 20 most common questions in their tone with a human handoff when things get complex. Now, if we are going to look at this now, we are going to match this task. We're going to match it under building category. That's a chatbot project. And we are going to build it by the time we get to week 3. So the goal here is to help you see a structural proof, all right? So that you can see your own problem clearly and look at where it fits into. Now, before we close tonight, I have just small, assignments for you tonight. I need you to do this before you sleep. Write down in one sentence the answer, the answer that you're going to give here now. You can, okay, let me not get complex, but just write down before you sleep tonight in one sentence that problem or your answer to the question we work on tonight. That problem. Do not try to solve the problem. Do not think about the tools first now. You just need to name the pain in one clear sentence. That is the beginning of your execution with AI. And tomorrow, which is the 3, we take that pain and we match it to specific tools. I'm going to show you how 3-way choosing AI can replace most of what people are currently paying monthly subscription for. And I'm going to be specific about which tools, why, and what they cost. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a freelancer, you're a solo professional, tomorrow is going to be matter to you and you need to be very much available. All right? So this is a tool. I've given you the framework. I gave you the framework yesterday, and that is a clear framework. C means context, L means locate, E means evaluate, A means activate, and then R means review. And I've given you a model, and the model is the pain, the task, the match. Can you see how we are progressing now? This alone is more structured than what most people have been using, for years. And the persons you are by 2 weeks, from now, either is to become who name their pain and build from it, or someone who just like to learn theory while others are moving. The difference, the difference is what is one sentence. Write that thing down before you sleep. And so at this point, I would like to appreciate you for joining day two of Zero to AI Confident. It's been an amazing time with you. And once again, I'd like to apologize for the technical failure, from Meta up to now. It's still not responding. I don't know why, but we are so sorry for this. If anything happens, we're going to fix it, and then we're going to get better. We still have like 18 days to go, so you can trust what to expect, by the end of, just to okay my team member just reached out to me that I should share a slide on the acronym, which is the CLEAR. Now, this is a CLEAR on the screen. So the CLEAR is the context, is to locate, to evaluate, to activate, and then to refine. CLEAR. C means context, L means locate, E means evaluate, A means activate, and R means refine. And this is where we're going to drop the curtain tonight. We are a minute past our time already. I hope it was a beautiful session with you. Please make sure you make it short, tag someone if you can, and then let them know that this is Zero to AI Confident, moving from AI confused to AI confident with Adebayo Kareem. It's a 20-day live series, and then I really want to build, people that use AI intelligently beyond just using it to chat, and all of those things. You want to make a screenshot, share your social media, make sure you tag me, and then I'm going to make a repost. By 7 p.m. tomorrow, we'll go live both on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you, and then have a beautiful night rest.